The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Octa Research Group sees emerging Omicron subvariants as the reason for the recent uptick in COVID-19 cases here in the Philippines. Maricel Halili with the story.
COVID-19 cases in the Philippines are rising again. The Department of Health has registered about 1,240 new COVID cases from May 16 to May 22 this year. This is 9.9% higher compared to the week before. Octa Research Group said the emerging new Omicron subvariant may be the reason for the new spike.
Kasi since February naman may mga campaign rallies na tayo, may mga sorties tayo. Tapos hindi naman tayo nakakita ng pagtaas ng bilang ng kaso. At yung election more than 2 weeks ago na eh. So itong nakikita nating mga upticks ng cases, maliit pa lang sa ngayon, tingin natin dahil ito na subvariant na mas nakahawa kaysa doon sa dati.
National Task Force Medical Advisor Dr. Ted Herbosa said the new BA.4 subvariant is 20 to 30% more transmissible compared to the other subvariants.
Dalawa yung dapat pangambahan sa mutations ng variant na to. One, yung malakas na transmission. Ang pangalawa, kumakalat ito sa Europa at sa Amerika na mataas din ng vaccination rate. So ang tiniteorya ng mga eksperto ay meron itong vaccine escape, no? Kahit ikaw ay vaccinated, kung mahina ang antibodies, baka ma-infect ka pa rin itong BA.4.
But some medical experts say this is not as deadly as other subvariants. However, they said that long COVID cases in the country must be seriously monitored.
Long COVID is now an accepted diagnosis as part of the complications of COVID-19. It usually occurs after patient has fully recovered but still had symptoms like difficulty of breathing, difficulty of the recall, so memory problem, and then there are also some element of easy fatigability or some have on and off cough. No?
For the Octa research, the imposition of stricter border control is not necessary at the moment. Professor David said it is more practical if we will focus on improving the vaccination drive and health protocols.
Dahil medyo malakas pa yung wall of immunity natin, kahit pa paano, baka a few thousand cases lang makita natin, baka nga umabot lang ng mga 5,000 at most, or siguro magugulat na ako, umabot na rin siya ng mga 10,000, pero sa tingin ko, hindi siya lalagpas ng mga 10,000.
Presidential Advisor on Entrepreneurship Joey Concepcion also recommended to provide second booster shots to 50 years old and above. Concepcion explained that aside from giving them extra protection, the government can also make use of COVID vaccines nearing expiration. For News 5, Maricel Halili, We Are One News.
In other news, the COMELEC has so far received at least 30 electoral protests after the May 9 elections. Acting COMELEC spokesman Rex Laudianco said these were filed by candidates at the city, municipal, and provincial level. On another matter, Laudianco said they are preparing their comment on the petition to cancel Bongbong Marcos's candidacy. Petitioners elevated the case to the Supreme Court after it was junked by the COMELEC.
The comment is being drafted by the Law Department and together with the Office of the Solicitor General. If they would ultimately represent the Commission, we would be submitting within the timelines po.
Incoming Labor Secretary Benny Laguesma plans to consult affected sectors on the matter of contractualization. Laguesma says that he will seek the help of the labor and management sectors as well as Congress to ensure that workers will not be abused by their employers. He also noted that certain forms of job contracting is allowed under the Labor Code. Meanwhile, Laguesma defended President Duterte for the vetoing of the Security of Tenure Bill back in 2019.
Parang lumalabas, hinarang yung ENDO. Hindi naman siguro in fairness Pangulong Duterte kasi alam naman niya ang nilalaman ng batas dahil bilang isang abogado batid niya kung ano ang limitasyon, ano ang kailangan gawin.
We'll be back with more stories after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. This is still One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Around a dozen countries have reported cases of monkeypox, a viral infection that is more common in Western and Central Africa. But how is this transmitted and treated? An expert explains in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
The eradication of smallpox was one of the greatest achievements in human health and public health history. But of course, it's left the world without immunity to pox viruses. So it's not surprising to start to see more cases occur when people are exposed.
Monkeypox is a misnomer. First discovered in the late 1950s when pox-like outbreaks occurred in monkeys kept for research. But monkeys aren't the source. The host species isn't yet known, though it's thought rodents play a role. After an incubation period of usually 1 to 2 weeks, the disease starts with fever, muscle aches, fatigue, and other flu-like symptoms.
monkeypox transmission usually occurs with just human-to-human contact transmission or large droplets, but those droplets are large. You'd have to be in pretty close proximity. This is not something that is airborne or aerosolized. It really is just supportive care, symptomatic treatment, and really importantly, isolation of the patient so that we don't see onward transmission. Two different clades of monkeypox. So there's the Central African clade, which is more transmissible and more virulent, is associated with a case fatality rate of about 10%, versus the West African clade, which is what we're seeing circulate in populations and being imported from West Africa, which is associated with a much lower fatality rate, about 1% or less than 1% of cases. The cases of monkeypox that have been identified in the Western Hemisphere in high resource settings have not been associated with a high rate of mortality, and that probably has to do with very good supportive care. Right now, we don't have an answer to this, and it's going to be very important to learn how this virus is going to work and operate, transmit, present itself now that it's in a different population and has opportunity to spread. We do need to be always getting in front of these viruses instead of chasing behind it.
And here's a quick look at today's other top stories. The camp of outgoing Vice President Leni Robredo has expressed no objection to the canvassing of votes being done by Congress today. In turn, presumptive President Bongbong Marcos's camp thanked Robredo for respecting the results of the elections. The Joint Canvassing Committee is expected to proclaim the winners tomorrow afternoon. The Octa Research Group says that Metro Manila may see a weak surge in COVID-19 cases under a worst-case scenario. The COVID reproduction number in the NCR has slightly risen to 1.05, which is beyond the ideal threshold. Despite the slight increase in the R0, the NCR is still under low-risk status for COVID-19. And the COMELEC insists that it cannot postpone the upcoming barangay elections without a law passed by Congress. Incoming House members are looking to postpone the barangay polls, which are set for December 5, in order to save funds that could instead be used for COVID-19 response. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.